Dark corridors, ancient drums, curses, ghosts, and whispers in the dark. Tonight we descend into the world of Thai horror, where psychological horror twists your mind. Supernatural thriller bends reality, and cult classic horror reminds us that sometimes fear can be funny. These are stories without buckets of blood, but with shadows that stay with you. Let's step inside, if you dare. Number 1. The Unseeable, 2006. Shadows, silence. A woman searching for her missing husband in 1930s Thailand. The Unseeable is psychological horror at its most suffocating, no gore. No cheap tricks, just dread that coils tighter with every step she takes. This isn't the kind of movie that jumps at you, it waits. The Unseeable traps you inside a decaying mansion where every creak of wood feels like a warning. The genius? Atmosphere. Pure, relentless atmosphere. Instead of blood, you get whispers in the dark, and the feeling that you've been watched far longer than you realized. Some will call it slow. But that's the point. It's a tense horror experience that breathes rather than screams. For me, it's a solid 8 out of 10. Eerie, beautiful, maybe a little too patient, but unforgettable in its chill. Watch it alone, lights off, if you dare. But if you think silence is scary, imagine the pounding of a cursed drum that refuses to stop. Number 2. The Haunted Drum, 2007. An ancient instrument, a haunting rhythm, and a ghost that refuses to stay silent. The haunted drum turns music into a supernatural thriller you'll never forge. At first it feels almost folkloric, young musicians chasing tradition, but then the beat starts pulsing, and it never really stops. This creepy supernatural tale doesn't rely on gore. It weapon-ish sound itself. Every thud of the drum feels like a heartbeat you can't escape. The movie blends Thai culture, music, and ghostly revenge into something hypnotic. Sure, some effects feel dated, but the concept? Terrifyingly fresh. I'd call it a 7.5 out of 10, not perfect, but unforgettable in how it turns rhythm into dread. Watch with headphones, and you'll swear something's knocking from behind you. And if cursed music unsettles you, just wait until ghosts start mixing horror with humor. Number 3. Chong Air, 2004. A road trip, a group of friends, and then, the supernatural crashes the party. Chong Air is a campy horror delight with just enough chills to keep you nervous. Eat humor. This one leans lighter, mixing 90s horror humor with ghostly encounters. Don't expect relentless terror. Expect jumpy laughs and eerie twists. It's cult classic horror in tone, reminding us that sometimes screaming and laughing come hand in hand. The film is uneven, but that's part of its charm. Think campfire tale gone wrong. For me, it lands around 6.5 out of 10. Silly, spooky, and a guilty pleasure if you like your fear with a wink. But laughter fades quickly when a family moves into a house where neighbors whisper about something waiting next door. Number 4. Laddaland, 2011. A perfect neighborhood, a dream home, and then the walls start bleeding with secrets. Laddaland is psychological horror that hides terror inside the family unit itself. What makes this film so unsettling isn't the ghosts, it's the crumbling of family trust. Every unexplained shadow pushes the family closer to collapse, and you realize the real horror may not be paranormal at all. It's tense, layered, and devastating. For me, This is a 9 out of 10, one of Thailand's best. Because it blends supernatural dread with painfully human fear. Watch it with family. If you're brave, it might spark conversations you didn't want to have. But if you think movies about films aren't scary, the next one will make you regret ever stepping into a theater.
เลิกฟังเรื่องไร้สาระพวกนั้นสักทีนะเราอาจจะตาฝาดเองก็ได้
Number 5. Coming soon, 2008. A cursed movie within a movie. Audiences screaming for their lives. Coming Soon is a supernatural thriller that plays with your paranoia about watching horror itself.
ฉันพูดอะไรอ่ะ
ยอดเราจะไม่ซวยแน่นะพี่
แล้วเขาอยู่ไหนอ่ะ
The genius of Coming Soon is its meta approach. You're never sure if you're safe as a viewer. The cursed footage doesn't just haunt the characters, it feels like it's reaching out of the screen. Creepy supernatural vibes all the way. It's stylish, occasionally messy, but undeniably effective. I'd give it a 7.8 out of 10. Scary enough to make you check your own reflection in the TV. Definitely not one to watch right before bed. And if cursed movies get under your skin, what happens when 5 short stories trap you in fear again and again? Number 6. Phobia 2, 2009. 5 tales, 5 different nightmares, and each one sharper than the last. Phobia 2 is psychological horror in bite-sized doses. What makes anthology horror work is variety, ghosts, curses, paranoia, karmic justice. This collection delivers them all, with a mix of tones that keeps you hooked. Some segments drag, but the best ones? Absolute gems of tense horror storytelling. It's uneven, but unforgettable, and that's the risk anthologies always take. For me, it's a 7 out of 10. Some hits, some misses, but worth every minute for the stories that land. But if 5 stories weren't enough, the next film takes you deep into rural Thailand, where faith, ritual, and possession blur together until you can't breathe. Number 7. The Medium, 2021. Faith, ritual, a family cursed. The Medium is a supernatural thriller so raw it feels like a documentary of terror. This mockumentary style makes the horror disturbingly real. Spirits, curses, possession. It all unfolds with a slow burn that ends in chaos. Creepy supernatural energy lingers in every frame. It's long, yes, and demands patience, but the payoff? Utterly chilling. I'd rate it 8.7 out of 10. Devastating, atmospheric, and haunting in its cultural authenticity. Watch it if you want horror that feels almost too real. But if shamans and curses shake you, the next one returns to a legend of a wife who loves so fiercely, even death couldn't keep her away. Number 8. Ghost of Mae Nak, 2005. A love story, a curse, and a ghost bride who refuses to let go. Ghost of Mae Nak is a supernatural thriller rooted in Thai legend.
Believe in love. She is waiting for her true love to come back.
ปล่อยม่านของฉันคืนมาสักทีเอาม่านของฉันคืนมา
Unlike Hollywood slashers, this tale is tragic, not gory. Mae Nak isn't just scary, she's sympathetic, which makes her appearances even more unsettling. You don't know whether to fear her or mourn her. It's atmospheric, occasionally melodramatic, but hauntingly beautiful. For me, 7.2 out of 10, not the scariest, but emotionally sharp. Perfect if you like your horror soaked in folklore. But if ghosts with love stories touch your heart, the next film twists beauty itself into something monstrous.
ผืนนี้ว่าผีแม่นาคหรือว่าแม่นาคพระโขนงเคยอาศัยอยู่ที่นี่
Number 9. Demonic Beauty, 2002. A queen cursed, a young girl possessed. Demonic beauty turns myth into creepy supernatural horror with tragic elegance.
บั่นคอไปแล้วข้าก็คงโดนเช่นกัน
The story unfolds like a dark fairy tale, balancing romance and fear. It's less about shocks and more about that heavy, doomed atmosphere. The supernatural presence is everywhere, lingering, watching. Yes, it can feel melodramatic, but that's its charm. For me, 6.8 out of 10. Flawed, yet fascinating in its folkloric style. Watch it if you like ghostly romance with a sinister twist. But if cursed queens disturb you, wait until you step into Siam Square, where an urban legend follows you like your own shadow. Number 10. Siam Square, 2017. Teenagers, urban legends, and a schoolyard where the dead still whisper. Siam Square is psychological horror dressed as a high school ghost story.
ก็คงจะช่วยอะไรคุณไม่ได้
อ้าวปอนคุยกันมาเป็นปีละมึงจะยังคุยกับมันต่อวะ
ช่างกู
แล้วเคยไปเหยียบตีนเธอตอนไหนปะเนี่ย
ไม่ถูกชะตา ไม่อยากยุ่งปอนสนิทกับ
It mixes teenage drama with supernatural suspense, and it works better than you'd think. The scares are subtle, rooted in guilt, secrets, and the power of rumor. Creepy supernatural meets mind-bending fear of adolescence itself. Not perfect, but hauntingly clever. I'd call it a 7.5 out of 10. Emotional, eerie, and surprisingly relatable. Watch it with friends. You'll talk long after it ends.
เพื่อนเติร์กมันเจอผีกันอะที่นี่เป็นอะไรมาก่อน
And there we have it. 10 shadows from Thai horror, psychological horror that eats at the mind, supernatural thrillers that blur the line of reality, and cult classic horror that dares to make us laugh while we scream. They prove you don't need gore to terrify, you just need silence, secrets, and shadows that won't let go. So, which of these movies scared you the most? Or maybe haunted you long after the credits? Dare to comment below, as only the shadows know.